Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial, and in today's video, guys, I'm doing the West Ham versus Fulham review that did take place just a couple of minutes ago at Craven Cottage. Now, it was very disappointing to say the least. 0-0 draw it did finish as at Craven Cottage, as I said. And for me, I think that it was very, very strange. But before we do get into it, let's get on to the incidents. Now, I'm saying incidents, not goals, because there were no goals in the game, but there was a very important incident that could define our season. Now, I'm not happy at all about this. Soucek did get sent off in the 97th minute, and this came through VAR. So what happened was we got a very dangerous free kick. Lingard was about to take it, and then all of a sudden, it was no more than this. Nobody can tell me otherwise. It was no more. He lifted. Soucek lifted his hand, his elbow up, and it went. It just scratched him, kind of skimmed Mitrovic's kind of nose, face area, and he fell down like a sack of potatoes. 14 people watching, guys. Get your thoughts in about the Soucek sending off and the game. Now, for me, I think it went to VAR. Lee Mason couldn't decide. So he then said to Mike Dean, go over to the monitor and you decide. And we all know Mike Dean. He loves to, put himself into the headlines. It was all about himself, and he loves a red card. He loves being in controversial incidents. He loves giving away red cards, and he did it again. He must have looked at that about 30 times. And for me, if he had to look at it that many times, why did he give it? If he did think that it was a red card, he would have knew within 1, 2, or 3 times of looking at it. But the fact that he looked at it for about, I'd say about 20 to 30 times, he probably looked at it in about the 1 to 2 minutes he was over at the monitor. And for the fact that he still went, red card to Thomas Soucek, I think is really poor. And yet again, it's VAR. I mean, Mike Dean didn't notice it in real play because it wasn't like that. It wasn't a really kind of intentional, really hard kind of like that. He literally lifted his elbow up, and I am so gutted. And it's possibly our most, possibly our best player, our most crucial player from being in the midfield to scoring 8 goals this season. He's now gone. Thomas Soucek is out for 3 games. That now means Mark Noble is going to have to come into the midfield. So let's get on with the halves then. The first half, Fulham with the better side, very disappointing. And yeah, it was extremely disappointing. Ian says, really poor decision. Yeah, it was absolutely poor from the referee. So Fulham with the better side, it was very disappointing. I thought when we came out, I was baffled. I said on West Ham United, I was very baffled with how we came out and set up. Fulham looked the better side. Fulham looked sharper. They looked very good. They looked, for me, Fulham, they needed to win this game. They were now 9 points off the relegations, 9 points off safety. They're now 8 points off safety. And they wanted it more. And I think we were lucky to come out with a draw from that game. We were lucky to come out with a point, because I think they had several chances that they could have put away. A bit more kind of quality in the final third. They would have won that 2-3-0, I think. Mitrovic had a chance. Loftus-Cheek had a few chances. Lookman had a few chances. They could have scored quite a few. And yeah, the way we set up, the way we were just off the pace, we didn't want it. We weren't winning. We weren't winning the second balls. We weren't winning the headers, and it was just very strange. Moving on to the second half, the same continued. Then Soucek got wrongly sent off. Now, I have said my piece on that for 2 minutes about Thomas Soucek, and now I think that could define our season in a very bad way, because now we're going to have to bring Noble into the side, and that could go horribly wrong. It could turn out to really be bad for us. But we've got to look at the positives of this in a way, because we still got a point out of it. You're going to either laugh or cry from what you've seen, even if you didn't watch the game. We drew with Fulham, and Soucek got sent off in the last minute. And yeah, you're either going to laugh or cry. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. Very frustrating performance. Very frustrating football display, very disappointing refereeing. And I've said my piece on that. I'm not going to ramble on about it anymore. I'm sure we all, if we look at it, we are all going to say the same things as West Ham fans, and it's an absolute disgrace that he is a referee in the Premier League. But that's going to pretty much do it to wrap it up today. Then I think that it was a very disappointing on the pitch performance from West Ham United. Ben Rama was the only flair, and then he got taken off, which was a. This thing, will it get overturned? Now I've just been listening to Stell on West Ham United, and I completely agree with him, and I completely agree with anybody who now goes onto the airwaves and says how much of a bad decision it was, because it was, and we haven't had a bad VAR decision for a while, but we've damn got one now, and it is going to define our season. Will it get overturned? Probably not. You know, the Premier League. I think it should get overturned, but it probably won't. I think even Mitrovic knew it was not a red. He did not complain after the incident and even looked surprised. Yes, I faced terrible decision. Yeah, it was, Jacob. Thank you for coming on. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. I appreciate it, and I completely do agree with it. Yes, an absolute disgrace. How is Dean a Premiership ref? Yeah, I said that earlier. How he did that. And yeah, look here. Nice new picture from Canning Town Len. Very nice. Check out Canning Town Len using the link in the description down below. Check him out using who does absolutely fantastic portraits. Check him out using the link in the description down below. So that is a very disappointing performance. Absolutely gutted that Soucek got sent off. Will it get overturned? Probably not. You know, West Ham with our decisions like that, absolutely frustrating. I'm going to go. Make sure you go over to watch West Ham United for their review of the game, highlights in words. And from me, Jake from West Ham Unofficial, come on, you Irons. I'm trying to think positive, but there isn't much positives to come from this game at all. Until next time, we've got one more comment. Dean should be hung out. He should. Absolutely appalling. Thank you very much for watching. Come on, you Irons.